Dear recruits, here, your life applications officer. I'm going to put this on 2 channels, or do it on 1 channel and share it with my other channel. The Bible and marriage and divorce. I want to say real quickly that marriage and divorce they go together. Now, a lot of people, they think that if they're married, that Jesus changed the law of Moses to put away your wives if you find something unchaste in your wife and all like that. He did not change the law. The law of Moses is still the law of Moses. He fulfilled the law of Moses, and like he said, because of the hardening of your hearts, you put away your wives for any reason. Yes, marriage is forever. But the backhoe of marriage is divorce. And I'll give you an example why the churches need to stop pressuring people to be non-divorce. It's okay if you want to forgive your wife or your husband for something that they did wrong. It's okay if you have that kind of faith where your wife or your husband can be out there doing whatever they want to do and being disrespectful to their marriage and being neglectful of their marriage, and you want to just be at home alone, unprotected, unsafe, spending the nights by yourself, whatever, that's entirely legal. It's up to you. But divorce is part of marriage. Okay? And what do I mean by that? I mean that marriage is forever if 2 people strive to keep it together, not by just the law, but by love, because there really isn't a law that overrides divorce. Okay? There's a difference between a person that divorces a woman or a husband and a person that commits adultery, okay, and walks away, okay? And when the Bible says that, except for adultery, I don't think the word adultery is a word that, I have to have evidence that they cheated on me. It doesn't matter that they flirt constantly with other people. I have to have evidence. I personally believe that the word adultery is a entry word, where there are some things that are worse than adultery, like your marriage being a lie. Or what if your wife divorces your child? What if your wife aborts your child? What if you and your wife have a baby and for some odd reason she decides to abort your child? Now, a lot of ministers have said, well, separation. Well, let me tell you something. There's a lot of Christian men and women out there that have been separated since they got married years ago. There's a lot of husbands and wives out there that are in a marriage where they have no sexual relationship with their spouse. They're only there for the kids. Okay? And you think you're helping the kids. They know you're not together. You're either together or you're not. Okay? And I'm not trying to give you bad advice. If you feel that you have faith to let your husband or your wife be separated from you forever, or you let your husband and your wife, keep abusing you, flirting with other women. Where were you? Why are you late? You was talking to so-and-so's wife. Okay? But you're supposed to sit there and wait till you have evidence that he's cheating with so-and-so's wife when he's late coming home to you every night. See, I think except for fornication, and you got to understand, the King James word is not adultery, it's fornication. Now, I agree, it's really about adultery, but I do believe that it's also fornication. And fornication is what? Fornication is anything that separates you from, and the New King James Version uses the word unfaithfulness. And a lot of people don't like that. No, it's not good enough to be unfaithful. You have to be adulterative. But unfaithfulness, is a big word. It's a bigger word than adultery. In other words, you can be unfaithful by what if every time you and your wife go out, she spends more time with your friends and leaves you sitting at a table by yourself, or leaves you, by yourself somewhere. What if every time your friends get mad at you, she takes their side and thinks you're the one that needs to get a grip? See, sometimes marriage is not going to work for certain couples because, you have to have that understanding of that person and that love for that person to where that person is able to make mistakes and still be loved. That person is able to be imperfect and be loved. And you have to be in a marriage where you can make mistakes and be loved. But what if a man has a wife who, this is supposed to be a Christian marriage, but she practices no submissiveness. He cooks for himself, he cleans for himself, he does his own laundry, he does everything for himself. The only thing he does with her is sex. But she does nothing for him. She has no, and people come over your house and they're like, okay, she never serves her husband. She never goes and gets her husband a glass of water. She never, what I'm saying? Like, what if your wife doesn't show any respect for you, and then, she wants to have sex with you because she's thinking by having sex with you, that's all you need to be faithful, but the rest, and in those instances, I'd say, yeah, don't be so fast. Pray for her, and hopefully over time, she will graduate to being a better wife, a more submissive wife, and all like that. And there's things that you can do to encourage her without making her feel guilty, okay? And putting pressure on her, or letting the church put pressure on her, or anything. There's just ways for you to deal with it without divorce. I agree. But don't let the church tell you that you have to let your spouse, like I've seen pastors tell women that are being abused physically by their husbands to hang in there and they don't even say separate and get a restraining order. You let a man beat up on you, you can end up in the hospital maimed for life, and you'll never marry anybody else looking like that once he get done beating the crap out of you. You let a man put you in the hospital, he's slapping you around and stuff like that. He may just one day come home and slap you with something other than a knife and kill you. I mean, he may come home one day and slap you with something other than his hand and kill you. He might use a knife to slap you. He might use his gun to slap you. You know what I'm saying? You need to always understand that you have the option. Moses nor Christ took that option away from you. God did not take that option away from you to get a divorce. I need to tell you this little quick story. I just got done watching a video about the Philippines. And there's an old guy on there talking about, marriage and divorce in the Philippines. Well, in the Philippines, there's no divorce. And they seem to feel and believe that they're being sacred by, there's no divorce. You marry somebody, you are married to them forever, till death do you part. But all these people, and they're all Catholic, most of them that are religious are Catholic, most of them that claim to be Christian are Catholic, okay? But I just believe that also there's a lot of, worldliness in the middle of your religion, in the middle of your denomination, in the middle of your Christianity. There's a lot of worldliness in your, and therefore you're not really being Christian, you're kind of more religious, okay? And women are in the Philippines, women tend to be, allow themselves. Now, some women will fight that and they'll say, I don't want to be that woman. But a lot of the young women are sexually promiscuous. But they're not sexually promiscuous. You have bar women, women who work in the bars and women who are prostitutes. But you also have women who, if they meet a man that's going to move in with them and help them with their children, or move in with them and help them, pay the rent or whatever, they're going to sleep with him. And when he gets done with her, she'll move on to the next guy. Or when she gets done with him, she'll move on to the next guy. And the reason why is because a lot of these women have husbands, because they can't divorce them. So when they break up with a dude, they have no choice but to practice fornication, because it doesn't matter if the man is beating the crap out of her, he tried to kill her or whatever, okay? And some of them that have money have went to another country and got married in another country with somebody else and was able to divorce. Their divorce was legal in another country, but not legal in their country. So, and that's the closest to a real divorce that they can come to is, go to another country and, marry somebody else of another country, and there's some kind of separation papers or whatever. I don't even know if that is, and I don't know if God looks at it the way people are looking at it, because people are looking at it like, well, like over here in the West, we're looking at the Philippines and we're saying, well, if you weren't able to crack the code in the Philippines to divorce your husband, no matter where you go, it's not a legal divorce. Because according to their documents, you got married. So according to your documents, you have to get a divorce. But I believe if the person that you're marrying is from the West, or he's from another country, you can get a divorce in that country, especially if you haven't been with this man, you have not been practicing any, laws with this man, you haven't been together, you've been separated all this time, and you're not receiving any funds and all like this. And then there's the whole issue where a lot of these women are hooking up with foreign men, American men, men from Canada, men from the UK, men from Europe, whatever. They're hooking up with other men while they are separated from their husband. And what a lot of these Filipino men do, because they're broke, and because, a woman can always get a man quicker than you can get a woman, okay? Especially when she's pretty and cut nice and all like that, okay? these men will go after the foreigner. But better yet, the Philippines is always, people of the Philippines are always crying for money. So a lot of times what he'll do is he'll sue the foreigner as well as his wife, okay, and accuse them of adultery. And you can actually go to jail in the Philippines for the crime of adultery if the husband so wish it. So when it's not like that, you got a husband and a wife who are okay because they're separated. They're okay with their spouse being with somebody else. They walk across the beach and see each other, walk right past each other, him with his new woman and her with her new man. Why? Because you cannot practice divorce in the Philippines. Now, some people would say that's a good thing. No. That's not a good thing. Okay? That would be like, let's say the Republican Party decided to become just like the Democratic Party. Okay? And so this time around, you decided that the Republican Party is so bad on their morals, you might as well vote Democrat this time, because at least you'll get paid. At least you'll be able to keep your everybody's not going to be Donald Trump that runs the Republican Party. Bush, nobody really liked Bush when he was in office. Okay, but I mean that's just like that. Like, you say, well, you're a Republican, but you have to vote Republican regardless, even if the Republican acts like a Democrat. And he's going to come in there and he's going to legalize everything the Christians feel is illegal. And he has no option because he's a sworn-in Republican. A Republican for life. Okay? And that's what it's like if if you say, I can never divorce my wife. Okay? And my wife could cheat on me, and I would forgive her. If I felt that she really, 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 really was sorry, not because she's going to lose, not because she's afraid of losing security, or afraid that she's going to lose financial security, or because her boyfriend ain't, got what it takes to take care of her or whatever. She needs my money, she needs my house, she wants my house, she wants my money. If I felt that she was really, really, really sorry, like, a lot of women, I've seen women kick and scream when their husband caught them cheating. And they got caught red-handed. Okay? Well, you were not supposed to ever walk in on that. Now, if I really felt that something happened at that moment that was bigger than the fact that she cheated, and the way she got caught is more about her, me, and God. It's the three of us and nobody else, no third parties. Nobody's to blame but her, and she understands it's getting right with God and getting right with me and repenting to God first and then me second. That should have never happened, and she's really, really sorry, and she's so sorry that, she did this to me, and she knows that we may never bounce back from this, because every time I go to make love to her, or she shows any kind of love for me, I'm going to think about, the fact that she did that. Okay? The fact that I caught her red-handed. And there's people out there that, don't have what it takes to, let a woman cheat on them. A lot of men, because, again, a woman can get a man better than a man can get a woman. I don't care how much blues music you listen to. Unless your wife is obese and extremely ugly, a woman will always be able to get a man faster and better than a man can get a woman. She might get an a-hole since she's so quick to jump on some dumb, low life jump something, whatever, that would sleep with a woman that's still married, but she can get a man faster than you can get a woman. However, that doesn't mean that, she can't be sorry. She can't really, really be repentant for what she's done. So when I talk about this, I'm not saying that, even for adultery, I'm not saying that y'all can't reconcile and work things out. I believe you can. But it takes a certain person, it takes a certain man, and takes a certain woman. And if the man cannot get past it, or the woman cannot get past it, like a lot of women, if they cheat on their man, they're done. Not because he wants to let her go, but she'll never ever love him the same again because of the fact she cheated on him. She'll never love him the same again. They'll never have that again. She crossed that line, and that's why the Bible says, except for fornication. But again, fornication or adultery is not, I have evidence, I have proof that my wife cheated on me, so I'm divorcing her. I don't see it that way. That's just me. I don't have to take evidence to my pastor or take evidence and pray over it if I believe my wife is unfaithful to me. If my wife puts my friends or her friends above me, that's unfaithful. If my wife comes home and treats me like I work for her, I'm her slave, and she does nothing for me, that's disloyal. If she's making me pay for sex, that's disloyal. If I have to, be the creepy dude in my own marriage that gets one off every now and then, you know what I'm saying? Instead of my wife wanting to be intimate with me on a regular basis, that can be a problem for your marriage, and it's disloyal. Because there's a man out there that she wants to be loyal to. There's a man out there that she would, if she was with that man, she would be sleeping with him every time she got a chance. So she's with the wrong man. That is why when God created Adam and Eve, he brought Eve to Adam. And you need to understand what that means. God didn't just, Adam and Eve's marriage wasn't just based on the fact that they were the first couple on the planet. Adam and Eve's marriage is based on the fact that God chose Eve for Adam. And you also need to understand that everything was done. Eve was the last thing God created. Everything was done for her. She didn't have to do nothing but follow her husband as her husband follows God. What is her job? Her significance, her allegiance and everything is to God and to her husband. There's nothing for her to do but respect and love her husband. She doesn't need to work. She doesn't need to, if she's having children, That's her job. Be home, take care of the kids, okay, and leave room in that taking care of the kids for dad. Because dad is just as important. Dad is the CEO of this institution. But don't act like, oh, well, dad's a loser because he goes to work every day and he comes home tired. Yeah, he does that so that you don't have to go out and work. Which, when I was married, my pastor, one of them, tried to explain to my ex-wife that your husband needs to take care of his family. That comes first. Above all this other mumbo jumbo. Hold on a second.